foster recruitment doesn't really end at once the foster has signed up and is in, because they're always going to be in your system, and how you approach onboarding will actually prove how much recruiting you can do, since it's how many people sign up. So shelter background, a little bit about us. We're at Fulton County Animal Services, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. So we are over that whole county, which is like over 1 million people. And we're, an open intake municipal shelter. We oversee metro, suburb, and rural areas. So there's a lot of variety in what we see. And then prior to COVID-19, we had an average of 350 to 400 dogs in the shelter population. You can see the pictures. It's not, or the bottom picture, it's not the biggest. We have about 30 co-housed runs in there, and then a whole bunch of shorelines all over the place. And it's really only built for 80 dogs, but through co-housing, we really are able to make higher populations work. And the foster program was created due to the urgency of needing these dogs out of that junky environment. Currently, there's usually between 300 and 350 dogs. Right now, we're down to 350 after a urgent adoption plea this weekend, our sister shelter, that then resulted in us also getting some dogs out. And we typically say all animals are available for foster if there's the ability to place, with the ability to place strategically. So if there's a French bulldog that comes in and it's on a stray hold, we're not necessarily going to put that dog into foster unless it's with like the person that found it and brought them in, because they're going to more than likely be adopted or be chosen by one of our rescue partners. But if it's a 50-pound black pitty, the second it gets it off its stray hold period, send that thing to foster. So we have different types of foster in our program. The intake diversion is like safety net, so people who need support to keep their personal dogs can use our foster program as a way to reunite with them once hard times have passed. So lack of housing, medical are all reasons that we will find safety net fosters for people's dogs. And then friendly finder is when someone finds a stray and they hold on to it so that we can try and find their owner within their community and not have to introduce them to the shelter environment. So they come in for intake and then go right back with the person that found them. And then information gathering and promotional, we have Dog for the Day, which is our, pick up the dog in the morning, bring it back before we close. Weekend Warrior, which is a 3-night program that is not restricted to the weekend, despite the name. And then our short-term programs like Home for the Holidays, Spring Break, and Canine Camp, which are typically, thematic to the season, and our 2-week fosters. Although in traditional fostering, we also just allow people to take a dog for however long. So if they want a 2-week foster, they can just say they're coming to pick up a foster and take a dog for 2 weeks. Traditional fostering, so we do space fostering, medical fostering. We do heartworm treatment for free through our clinic that we have on site. Illness and surgical recovery, we have a great spaycation program that we'll do where we get our female dogs spayed, and then since the recovery they have to be singularly housed, we just put them in a home and they can relax for the couple of days after their spay. People love that. Underage, this is rare, but we're having more problems with rescues taking underage pups. So we do occasionally look for fosters to take puppies who are under 8 weeks old. Moms and babies, again, rare because we do have great rescue connections, but every once in a while we will put them in homes. We don't really put pregnant moms into homes. Behavioral fosters, definitely like the most important. I don't know, they're all important, but behavioral is great because some of those dogs, they're never gonna have a chance to get adopted from the shelter without getting out of here. Live evidence fostering, so our court case fosters, and then foster to family, which is our 2-week trial adoption period. So who can foster? We are super low barrier. So all you have to do is be 18, live within a reasonable travel distance. So we typically say within 45 minutes. People out in the country in Georgia don't really care about driving that much. So sometimes we'll send dogs like 50 minutes, an hour away, as long as they solemnly swear to come back for medical appointments and shots and heartworm preventatives and stuff like that, because we don't mail those. They need to provide that transportation for veterinary visits or emergencies, and provide a safe indoor temperature-controlled space with adequate food. Those are Department of Agriculture requirements. And Georgia law requires a home visit every 6 months. Should I talk about those? I don't know. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say.
Yeah, we are an ag state, so we do have to do home visits. When COVID hit, we were allowed to do them virtually. So we do have volunteers that will do a little virtual home visit just to make sure that the home is meeting the requirements.
As long as they have a roof over their head, typically it's fine. And the most important thing is stay in contact with your foster coordinator. If people just take a dog and disappear for 6 months, we don't necessarily want to foster to them again. So foster sign-up process is very simple. It's just a short questionnaire that is through JotForm on our website. And in December, we got 70 applications to foster for the Fulton County location. People who said other of how they found our program. So this chart off to the side is how people answered in their questionnaire how they found out about our foster program. So people who said other typically found out through tabling events and Nextdoor. And between Nextdoor and friends and family, I think it's all really important to note that that's all word of mouth. So that relationship building is really the most essential thing, because if you build those good relationships, your fosters are going to do the recruiting for you. We also allow walk-in appointments. We do ask people to fill out the form in general if they walk in, just so we have all their information right in front of us. Although sometimes we don't, and we just say, okay, here's our foster agreement, please fill it out. Do you live less than 45 minutes away? Yes, cool. And just being as low barrier as possible helps us get the most dogs out as possible, and helps people, you know, talk well about us and be like, wow, this place was so easy to get a foster dog, you should do it too. So after signing up, immediately fosters receive an automated reply that is an overview of the programs with links to sign up. We use Calendly, although right now they're shut down because we have the canine flu. So our short-term programs are shut down. And people have to message us directly right now to get the link to sign up for an appointment. But in general, we try and do appointments for that time management thing. And then within 72 hours, so within the first 3 days, I will personally send them an individual email with templates, and I've included them all at the end to assist with matchmaking and program matching. And our foster to family foster program is actually overseen by our adoptions department, so that takes a lot of weight off of the foster's coordinator's shoulders, and is basically, you know, in line with a lot of what adoptions is already doing for the most part. So by working with them to program matching, saying, okay, why are you fostering? We'll help point them in the right direction. We don't require appointments for foster to family or trial adoption period. And yeah, that's kind of what we do with the program matching. So of the 70 applicants in December, this is kind of my breakup of the results. So like one person made an appointment, no match. A bunch of people want small dogs, and that's just not what we had available. A couple of people need cat friendly. 5.7% was not matched for the program. So that just means maybe they were too far away. Maybe they were a, I don't know, DNF. So we don't want to foster to them, or other reasons. Onboarding started. So they've started the first steps. Maybe they need a couple of days or weeks before they can take their first foster home. About 11% wanted to adopt. 18.6% were short-term programs only, which are closed right now. And then 20% of them actively have fosters. And then 28.6% of them entered what I call the void. So these are people who either ghost you or never responded. And sometimes they'll resurface, so it's important not to remove them from their pleas. But people who enter the void are people that you've tried contacting and they've just never responded or dropped off. Still keep them on your mailing list so that when you send those pleas that say, hey, we're drowning and we need to place 30 dogs by the end of the week, sometimes they'll surface once that urgency hits. That's about it. I will also give this link to you guys. That is a link with all of our onboarding information as well. Can I click it?
Yeah.
Okay.